Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer has a few interesting additions coming in the near future, and one of them we may have had a bit more leak out about it as of late, and I want to discuss that with you today. So in this one, we're touching on a few leaks and reports that prove to be interesting and what it may hold for the future of Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer experience. As we go along, drop your thoughts below. What do you think of this? Are you looking forward to Gunfight and other additions to Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer content? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you in the community. And as well, make sure to check out my friends over at GamerAdvantage for the best blue light glasses on the market, but more on them in a bit. For now, let's take a look at these recent leaks and what they mean for Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer experience. So, a few days back, we discussed the leak from VX Underground that detailed how Activision internal data was accessed via a phishing leak, and the report that we touched on at the time reportedly detailed upcoming content. For a quick recap, that saw us having 6 seasons across Modern Warfare 2's year of support, and a number of things happened between then of December and the fall of this upcoming year, including what was described as 7 core maps, though that was without Season 5 included, so potentially anywhere from 9 to 10, a Haunting of Saba event for Halloween, again, as we described at that point, that's just the Haunting of Al Mazrah. Saba was just the internal code name for Al Mazrah pre-launch. Then we'd see 1 licensed operator every season, which means a collaboration or crossover. Season 2's, for example, likely being Ronan himself, with a real-world counterpart likely needing to be licensed to use there. More gunfight maps, spec op missions, raids, and tier 1 events starting from Season 3, 1 small map arriving in Season 4, and at least another 240 bundles, 70 per season. Now, there were a few discrepancies that we touched on in our video talking about this that have seemingly changed from when this report was put together back in early December to where we are right now. I mean, number one, we've seen messaging hint at only 5 seasons this year with Modern Warfare 2, similar to Vanguard's year of support, whether intentionally or by pivoting and shifting focus here, since we have had a few delays from Season 1's launch and where we are in the grand scheme of things. 2, we theorized that small map coming in Season 4 won't actually still be coming in Season 4, but instead that it was Ashika Island simply moved up in scheduling due to less than ideal reception and player counts of Warzone post 2.0 launch. And we've already seen that a map up coming in mid-season here for Season 2 Reloaded, that was confirmed to be something that was moved ahead of schedule from a later in the year season. So among other things, there's definitely some discrepancy and some stuff that didn't match up one-to-one, but the underlying principle was there. We saw introductions here as of what was going to be upcoming in the general thought process and planning for Modern Warfare 2 as a whole. But one thing that was touched on in particular here with this was that Gunfight was coming. Now, this was confirmed earlier. It was one of those things that we ended up learning about in the pre-Season 3 developer call, where it was confirmed for Season 3 and beyond, not just in that leak. So we knew this would finally be coming, something that Gunfight has been talked about since before the game was even revealed, all the way back in June at a pre-reveal conference that we had with developers, where they touched on that it would be coming at some point, but they didn't ever end up saying when it was. They didn't give any target date for it. There was just kind of a soft up in the air situation. But that specific mention of Gunfight, in addition to other core battle maps and other things for multiplayer, was something that is definitely nice to see. And if it was to be believed, if it is something to follow, Season 3 was leaked. Again, we're about a month behind from that initial plan, but it was stated to have 4 gunfight maps with the mode at launch. Then in Season 4, another 4 gunfight maps added in. Season 5 wasn't listed in that calendar, so we don't know if there's anything brought to the table in regards to Season 5, but then Season 6 did not reference Gunfight, but 8 Gunfight maps listed right up front here between Season 3 and Season 4. And that's where we get to today, where about a week ago, with the launch of the new season, we saw MW2 Intel, an insider who we've discussed here on the channel before. He tweeted the names of maps that very well could be what we see in Gunfight. Now, as with all leaks and rumors, take it all with a grain of salt, but the report alleged that we'd see the maps of Black Site, Boneyard, Exhibit, Lounge, Mercado, Subway, Theater, Torn, and Trauma. So if all is to work as intended, as is said to be, that's relatively in line with that previewed bit of what we saw with Gunfight so far from that recent leak. That's 9 maps, whereas we saw 8 reported to be coming through at least Season 3 and 4. So the next question that comes out of that, if this does all check out where the puzzle pieces start to fit together, my next question is, in what capacity will we see these maps? Are they new maps, adjusted maps from existing ones, cherry-picked locations from Al Mazrah, Ashika Island, or even Building 21? Honestly, I kind of think it's a safe assumption to say all of the above. I mean, Mercado already dictates, if correct, that we'd see smaller portions of existing maps. Shipment was also a gunfight map in Modern Warfare 2019, so I would not be surprised if they end up introducing that at some point into the gunfight rotation, simply because it is such a small map. But then with how things have been poached from Al Mazrah, like Dome as of recently in 6v6, I really wouldn't be surprised if we see segments from Al Mazrah And there's plenty to pick from that you could choose, because you don't have to just do those standard classic maps like what would be Afghan, High Rise, and other locations around Al Mazrah. You could pick much smaller locations, Cemetery, Saeed Mall. You could do so much with a lot of that, but on the other side of it, if you introduce 8 maps, 9 as that past list suggests, I mean, surely not every single one will be an adjusted 6v6 or ground war map and something from Al Mazrah, Ashika Island, or Building 21, right? Like, out of 8 or 9 maps, surely one of them has to be a unique, brand new perspective for Gunfight, right? I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself in knocking the idea off that list, but like, it kind of has to. Like, they're not going to do that, right? Right, please? I mean, I'm sure that it's absolutely in the cards, but I mean, fingers crossed, man. Now, my only ask here with this, Gunfight is incredibly fun to play around with. Absolutely. It's a great mode from Modern Warfare 2019 and what we ended up seeing here in other iterations since then. But one thing that I really do hope is that we do get Gunfight as we know it, but honestly, I'd also love for them to, along the way, this is just me asking and kind of speculating, I'd love for them to introduce Face-Off for Modern Warfare 2 like we had within Black Ops Cold War. I think that, honestly, I've said it before, Cold War, for whatever reason, I wasn't really into the multiplayer that year. It was just something that, I don't know if it was like burnout and fatigue from the skill-based matchmaking system from what we saw in Modern Warfare 2019, or like mechanic changes or what. Like, I'd play it, but it wasn't my favorite experience. But whenever I played multiplayer, most oftentimes I'd be playing Face-Off in Cold War. It was always action-packed, it was 6v6, and you'd always have the ability to do camos, challenges. It was just enough that it was built for 2v2 in terms of those gunfight experiences, but putting 4, 5, maybe even 6 players per team, I forget what it was, in a match where it was still that same size, it was absolute chaos and you were always shooting at something. I love that. I think that honestly, that'd be a great way that you could essentially always keep that shoot house and shipment only player base happy while also not sacrificing anything in regards to the regular map pool and playlists, like what we see with how they're trying to introduce new party games, how they're trying to introduce new modes that will be that spotlight feature of the season. I think if you do that with Face-Off, honestly, I kind of think you have to do it. I don't know that I would like Gunfight as much if there isn't that option there, just because in the past, it's worked so well. Back in Modern Warfare 2019, when we only had Gunfight, I loved Gunfight, don't get me wrong, but now having the ability to go into that 2v2 elimination match, or just go in and play it straight up team deathmatch and domination, Kill Confirmed I think was in there, that was something that just changed the game. So fingers crossed that we see something like that as well. That part is just me speculating, but anyways, wanted to round out the discussion with my hope on that. But for now, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Just wanted to keep you guys in the loop here in regards to what we learned recently about Gunfight and how there may be more on the horizon than what was initially teased. But before we wrap everything up, a quick reminder, check out my friends over at GamerAdvantage for the best blue light glasses on the market. I've talked about them plenty. In fact, that was most of the integrations that we had here as of the month of February. But while the 24% off deal is no longer going on, it is still a great time to invest in your vision health. I've said and lived by it that these guys are probably the single most beneficial partner I've had over the years. I look at my monitor for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus hours a day, and that really starts to wear on you over the years. So since using GamerAdvantage now 2 years back, I've truly noticed the difference. I certainly could not explain the science nearly as well as they can. That and all their clinical studies are linked down there in the description below, but if you guys would like to learn more or even pick up a pair for yourself for what I'd consider the most comfortable, lightweight, and durable frames on the market, head on over to the link in that description and make sure you use code ESPRESSO for 10% off your entire order. But for now, that's what we're gonna call it. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down below. If we see Gunfight here and introduced in the capacity of 8 maps perhaps across season 3 and 4, 1, would that be enough to make you happy? And 2, would you like to see something like Face-Off introduced here in Modern Warfare 2 to have that high action, high intensity chaos of multiplayer, but also still have the ability to play that 2v2 elimination match? Love to get your feedback down below, but if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and anything COD related. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.